Welcome back to the channel. This is No Luck Trucking. I'm Matt, and we're sitting, as you can tell, we're sitting at a Walmart. We are on I-40 in Gallup, New Mexico. So it's going pretty well. My hours were getting kind of low after all the running that we were doing last, week and a half or whatever. So I'm doing a rolling reset. So Liz drove out this morning and pretty much drove a full shift. She has an hour left on her clock. We're gonna go down the street to one of the rest areas. But we're over here getting some groceries, just kind of stopping in. Because that's a huge thing for us, to save money where we can. And one of those things is not eating truck stop food, or not relying on truck stop food at all, or restaurants or anything like that. So the more that we can go to Walmart and then just survive on the truck without spending a ton of money all the time, the better. And I mean, everybody should be doing that too. Cutting costs is a huge thing when the market is rough. I don't know what this guy behind it, this RV guy, is doing that pulled up into frame. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty busy. Tons of trucks, tons of, probably 100 RVs over here. And I guess people shopping as well. So it's pretty busy. But Liz is in there grabbing stuff. So I kind of wanted to make a quick video today. Okay, now he's driving next to us. And now he's going to try to parallel park in front of me, which there's not enough room. So I guess I'll be on the horn. Yeah, all this stuff's distracting. Yeah, so just kind of wanted to talk about the state of the Landstar load board. I don't really have access to this. Wow, he's getting really close. I don't have access to a whole lot of other boards, so I don't really know what the state of their boards are. But right now, so at the height of things, if I remember correctly, there was something like 100 to 120,000 loads on the board at one time when I was going over those, like the average rates and things like that. This morning I looked and there was 30,000 loads. Now, a lot of those are going to be like 3PL copy and paste stuff. So there's going to be multiples of the same load, or some of them just don't exist or have already been booked. But at the same time, there was a lot of those when there was 120,000 loads as well. So it's nothing new. So that's kind of leading towards like all the things that I've discussed where, now the guy's backing up. I have no idea what he is planning to do. Yeah, where I kind of go down all the stuff, about why we have to change and how we're changing our business model. And it comes down to just like the load availability. If you haven't booked out already in this market, you've already kind of lost. You're fighting a lot of other BCOs that are sitting there, and there's not a whole lot of freight that's popping up, especially anything that's worth running. So the huge 60% decline in the amount, just the pure volume of the loads is a huge factor in why the market's so tight right now. There's a lot of people that are clawing and scratching and doing everything that they can survive. So even at a rate that you would not think is very conducive to running a business, there's a lot of people still fighting for those rates as well, just to try to, I guess, delay the inevitable for one more week. Make that truck payment, or make the bills at home to keep everything going for a little while. But yeah, just the volume is just gone. And somebody But one of the guys that always comments was like, man, it's such a far cry from when you guys were like 2 hours, we're out of here, you know, kick rocks at a shipper, to now it's like, well, we'll just take a nap and do a reset in the door. But that's just kind of how it is, because if we cancel on that, just no loads to book. So we can't be picky, and we can't be reckless with like dropping a load. Not to say like if push comes to shove, I mean, we still would if we had to, but like the pickup on the video that we're doing now, that'll probably come out in 2, 3, 4 days. I don't know how long exactly. But the guy checking us in was such a jerk. He was so condescending. And I think he was just looking for conflict, man. It was one of those guys that would just like hate their job. So they take it out on anybody and everybody that they can. And then I come along and I'm just doing what we did the last time we picked up here, and he was just being super difficult. So at the end I was like, Liz, you gotta go get the paperwork. I can't deal with this guy anymore. And also she was driving out, so she would have had to have gone and gotten the paperwork anyways. But even then, she was like texting me while she was getting the paperwork. She's like, this guy is on a whole nother level. He is such a jerk. And then he was like wondering where I was. I guess he wanted round 2 of like treating me like dirt. So it sucks, but you can't match their energy, you know. It's a decent load, and I didn't want to be stuck in California, but every part of me wanted to be like, hey man, we're gonna go ahead and leave this right here and take off, but just can't anymore. Before, when we were out in California, there would be people calling us, needing us to run a load. Yeah, Liz and I were actually laughing about that the other day. There was a lot of times where the agency that runs the FedEx loads, VAM, they would call us practically begging us to take their FedEx load from Salt Lake to Kansas, I believe it was. And it even got so bad that they would add money onto it. The rate was already like $360, $370 a mile, something like that. It was pretty decent. And then they would add an extra $500 on top of the normal rate. So it'd bump it up to like, yeah, $4, over $4 for a team run, like basically 2 shifts. It was good money, definitely good money. Yeah, I think it was something like 1,000 miles, so $4 a mile, $4,000 for a night's worth of work, you know. But now, like, you look on the board, either they lost that contract or somebody has scooped it up for the foreseeable future. That load just does not exist. And at this point, they would laugh at you if you try to negotiate the rate or anything like that. But, you know, several months back, they were calling us basically, not so much begging, but they would call like 2 or 3 times a day to see if we have booked anything, if how much money it would take to get it to get ran. But now you can't even like pay somebody for that load. Everybody that's, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't say smart about their business, because there's a ton of ways to run your business and still survive in this market. But the people that have an idea of how to survive have taken all the dedicated freight that's pretty reliable and booked it out as far as possible. And then I even gave the advice to a new team that came over to Landstar. I was like, just look for good loads and then fill in the blanks. You know, if it's like a week out, you have a week to get over there, you know, however you can, or get close and deadhead over there. But yeah, all the dedicated stuff's snatched up. And then all the relationships that people have made while the rates were good, you know, now they're getting taken care of by those agents. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't hit the board, but, you know, it doesn't bother me. It wasn't my load to begin with. But that to be said, we've actually had a few loads that have never hit the board as well. But you know, we're still doing all right. We're still making a buy. You know, I hope we get some sort of upswing in rates and capacity, because it's like one or the other. Like, if the capacity went up and the rates stayed the same, we'd still be good. You know, it would be good. A lot of people, you know, there would be a lot more pieces of the pie to go around. But right now, there's not very many pieces of the pie, and the flavor of the pie sucks. So, you know, you just got to do what you got to do. But getting out of California was good. There was so much traffic. It was so windy that there was enough dust blowing that it was basically shutting down 10 for a little while. Just visibility was next to nothing. There was a few times where I was wondering if we were going to have to stop or not, because we were empty at that point and it was gusting pretty heavy. And it was so heavy that the RV vacationers couldn't even do more than 35 miles an hour, like once we got out of the dust storm. But they were getting like blown into all the lanes, and it was rough. I mean, trucks were too, to be honest, but you know, they're a little bit heavier, so some of them, not us. we were taking a wiggly path down the road, but yeah. Well, just wanted to kind of get another video up. I'm gonna do my best to do every day, or maybe every other day, something like that, a few times a week, let's put it that way. Maybe 5 videos a week. Maybe I'll commit to that. But yeah, I encourage everybody that's still trying to make it in this market to do whatever you can to cut costs. And the biggest thing that I could say is cook on the truck. If you have a fridge and an inverter, there's so many options. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on what we use to cook, like utensil wise and things like that. But I mean, you can't beat it. We can go to a rest area, like the area that we park at. We don't have to find a place that has food. It's a lot cheaper, also way cheaper. I don't even know if I want to factor in how much a day you would spend eating at a restaurant or truck stop food. But the biggest thing that I could say is just save as much as you can. You know, eat food on the truck while you can. Whatever you can do to cut costs. So, well, thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.